Before we name anything, just watch the pass. There is no gas bottle in frame and no wire feeder pushing metal through a torch. A coated rod touches near the joint, an arc opens under its tip, the rod gets shorter, and a dark blanket trails behind the molten pool. That blanket is not just dirt. It is one clue that this process is solving several jobs at once. Heat has to form the pool. Filler metal has to enter the joint. Air has to be kept away while the metal is liquid. Then the hot bead has to cool without being exposed too early. That is the first idea in manual metal arc welding. The electrode is not just a handle for electricity. It is the consumable package. The metal core carries current and becomes filler. The coating burns into shielding gas and molten slag. The hand has to keep that small arc gap alive as the rod disappears. So the bright spot is not simply a flame dragged across steel. It is a moving chemical and electrical zone. The operator is controlling a short arc, a shortening rod, a liquid pool, and a cooling shield all at the same time. MMA stands for manual metal arc. It is also often called stick welding, and in some standards, shielded metal arc welding. The visible setup is simple: power source, electrode holder, coated electrode, work return clamp, and 2 cables. The hidden complexity sits at the hot end of the rod. Start with the circuit. The power source sends current through the electrode cable to the holder, through the coated rod, across the arc, into the workpiece, and back through the return clamp. The return path has to be connected before the arc can do useful work. Now split the rod open. In the center is a metal core. That core is the electrode and the filler metal. Around it is flux. Flux is not decoration. It is chemistry wrapped around the current path. As it burns, some of it becomes gas, some becomes molten slag, and some helps stabilize the arc and clean the pool. That is the big difference from the other processes in this series. In MIG, wire and external shielding gas are delivered as separate flows. In TIG, heat and filler are separated even further. In manual metal arc, the rod carries more of the system with it. Watch what happens at the tip. The arc melts the end of the metal core into droplets and into the weld pool. At the same time, the flux coating decomposes around that arc. The gas shield is short-lived and local. It protects the hottest metal right where oxygen and nitrogen would do the most damage. Behind the arc, a second protection layer takes over. Molten slag floats on top of the bead because it is lighter than the weld metal. It slows cooling, blocks air, and shapes the surface while the bead is still hot. Later, after it has done its job, the slag has to be chipped or brushed away. This is why manual metal arc can work without a separate gas cylinder. The protection is born at the arc. The gas cloud pushes air away while the metal is liquid. Behind the arc, molten slag sits over the bead like a temporary glass lid. But self-shielding does not mean self-controlling. The difficult part is hidden in the word manual. The rod is being consumed, so the distance from the holder to the work is constantly changing. If the operator does not feed the rod down, the arc grows long. A long arc spreads heat, makes the puddle harder to aim, and throws more spatter. If the rod is pushed too close, it can stick, bury the arc, or chill the pool. The hand is doing 2 things at once, moving forward along the joint and feeding the shortening electrode toward the work. Arc length is the small measurement that tells the whole story. Too long and the arc wanders. Too short and the rod can stick. Steady and the heat enters a small controlled pool. The goal is not to wave the rod above the plate. The goal is to keep a tight gap while the rod burns away. Rod angle matters for the same reason. The coating is making gas and slag right at the arc. If the angle is careless, the shield and the liquid slag do not land where the pool needs them. The electrode is not only delivering metal, it is placing protection. After the bright part ends, the weld is not finished. The slag has done its protective job, so now it becomes something to remove and inspect. Chip it away and the bead underneath tells the story. A steady arc leaves a regular tied-in bead. A long arc leaves spatter and a rough profile. Too much drag or poor angle can let slag run ahead and become trapped in the weld. The bead is not just a line of metal. It is the frozen record of current, arc length, rod angle, travel speed, and slag control. Now watch the whole system again. The return clamp is connected. Current runs through the holder and the coated rod. The arc melts the core into the pool. Flux makes gas at the front and slag behind it. The rod shortens, the hand feeds down, travel carries the pool forward, and the cooling bead waits under its temporary shield. That is manual metal arc welding in first principles. One coated consumable rod carrying heat, filler, shielding, slag, and control into one molten point.